Hey guys, welcome to this week's lessons. The first one we're going to do today is on circle graphs. Make sure if you're watching this that you go onto my website on the Hickory Ridge main page, go to Mr. Kozloff or Scott Kozloff, click on where it says homework. The homework, if you scroll all the way down, will show you both this notes page and your actual lesson to do at home. The notes page will not have these filled in. However, when I do them online like this, on a video, I'm gonna have them filled in so that you can see the answers that should be there, okay? It's kind of up to you whether or not you wanna try it on your own first and then check the video, or if you just wanna come straight here. So, on with the lesson. We're gonna talk about circle graphs first this week. A circle graph is also known as a pie chart, which must equal 100%. A full circle, 100%. The circle is divided into sectors that each represent a proportion of the whole. Some of you are going, hey, proportions, I remember that. Some others of you are going, proportions, I don't remember that. Hopefully if you don't remember, this will spark some of your prior knowledge. Shows how parts relate to the whole. Now some of you are saying, oh yeah, part to whole, part to part, whole to part. If you're not saying that, you probably should. This is what we're going to be doing with circle graphs and with histograms and with bar graphs. Useful to compare data to one another. Let me move this over here if I can so it's easier. All right, so the steps to finding a missing percent. First, set up an equation. That equation has to equal 100 because a full circle equals 100. Add up all other parts of the graph. Solve one-step equation. For instance, here are some percentages, and you can see the numbers here. 100 equals 46 plus 4 plus 18 plus 5 plus x. You guys all remember how we do this, right? We're going to take all of these numbers, we're going to add them together to equal 73. So 100 equals 73 plus x. Then we're going to remember, hey, that's an addition problem. What's the inverse operation? Subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 73 from both sides. Some of you at this point may want to do this. Instead of having this on the right side, since you're used to seeing it on the left side, rewrite the problem. X plus 73 equals 100. Or, for those of you that really would like, start up here and rewrite it. Equals 100. Remember, it doesn't matter which way you do it, the answer comes out the same either way. Just make sure that you are subtracting because it is an addition problem. Simple, yes? We've almost come full circle. All right, just a joke. What percent of the animals are cats? So if we look at this particular circle graph, we see a question mark by the cats. So again, we are going to take 20 plus 25 plus 15 plus 10, add them all together, and then we are going to subtract that number from 100, because again, the full circle is 100%. So 30% would be your answer. 20 plus 25 plus 10 plus 15 is 70. 100 minus 70? 30. What percent of the animals are not horses? Well, if horses are 20%, then 100 minus that 20 would give you the percent that are not horses. Once again, I want to remind you, underline the important words. If we underline the important words, we're not going to mess up the fact that somebody might be asking you about things that are not instead of things that are. Next question, what's the ratios of lions to ferrets? Ratios, you say. I remember ratios. They could look like fractions. So, if I want the ratio of lions to ferrets, I'm going to put lions on top, I'm going to put ferrets on the bottom, and then I'm going to simplify. Those of you that right now at home are raising your hand and saying, Mr. K, do we have to simplify? Come on, man, you know that answer is yes. Simplify everything, because life is simplified. Yeah. Okay, here we go. What is the ratio of cats to horses? Now I'm going to take my cats and my horses. Well, you say, I don't have a number for cats. Yeah, you do, you already found it. So you're gonna take that 30% that you already found for the cats, remember, up here, put that over the horses, and your ratio is 3 to 2. Your ratio is not 1.5, people. Remember, when we're doing ratios, it is one number compared to another number. So that's 3 to 2, and that is your final answer. Let's move on to the next one. Coach David asked 25 of his soccer players at his school what they did after practice was over last week, and here's the data shown. Let's just say, not for real, but this is what we made up. How many students did homework or watched TV? How many did homework or watched TV? First thing you have to do would be to add those two numbers together because we're asking about homework and TV. That's where the 56 comes from. Homework and TV, and we want to know how many students did their homework. When you look at your circle graph, the circle graph is percentages. It's not students. So we have to convert the percentages to students. Coach David asked 25 of his soccer players. That's the total amount of soccer players that he asked. That's the whole amount of soccer players. So remember, when we do ratios and proportions, whole percent, whole number. So, in other words, he asked 25 of his total students. We're looking for 100%. Here's the percent that watched TV and homework, and I want to know how many of those are students. So I'm taking the percentage proportion and turning that into a student proportion. If you need to pause, back this up, and look at that again, please do, because I know right now there are some of you that would be sitting in these very clean Lysol desks that would say to yourself, hey self, I don't get that. I'm gonna raise my hand and ask Mr. K. So again, pause if you need to. But again, I'm gonna cross multiply, and then I'm gonna divide. So I'm gonna take 100x, and that's gonna equal 56 times 25. Then I'm gonna divide each one by 100, and I'm gonna get 14 students. Try it, you'll get it. Last question, how many students play Xbox? So again, I'm gonna look here and see, first of all, there's a question mark here. So if there's a question mark here, then I have to take 40 plus 12 plus 28 plus 16 and add those together and subtract that number from 100, just like we did here in that previous slide. The answer that I get happens to be 4%. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in here because it asks how many students play Xbox. I'm going to use that same proportion. Total number of students, whole number. The part of the students percentage-wise that I already know will turn into the number of students that I need to know. Pause if necessary, figure this one out, then move on. See you at the next slide. Now what's going to happen? A student surveyed 40 of their classmates asking what their favorite color was. So again, what's the missing percent? 50 plus 30 plus 5 plus 5. Well, that's 90. I hope some of you can do that in your head. 100 minus 90 equals 10%. How many students' favorite color is blue? Once again, what's the whole number of students? There it is. That's where the whole number comes from. Here's the whole percent. Here's the whole number. I want to know how many students' favorite color is blue. I know blue is 50%, so I'm going to put 50% over 100%. Let me remind you, only a percent can go over a percent. There you have it. There's the students. Half of them like blue. Half of 40 is 20. I made that easy. You can do it in your head. Not always going to be that easy on a homework, an EOG, or a benchmark. How many students' favorite color is green or purple? Well, here's purple. Here's green. That's 40. I'm gonna do the same thing I just did for blue, only I'm gonna put 40 here, and then I'm gonna figure out how many students there are. Sounding kinda easy by now, right? Hope so. All right, so Mr. Powell now surveyed 234 of his band students, asking what they did when they got home from school. Here's the data. You'll notice now, I don't see any percent signs. Why don't I see any percent signs? Because these are now students. This is the second way we use circle graphs. If I added all of these students up, the number I want to get is 234.
Good morning, Maverick family.
in other
Just a
words-
quick announcement. I will be coming around to different grades.